Hello, everyone. This is Clay Chase with Torrey Capital, and welcome to the Silver Tiger Metals Non-Deal Roadshow presentation for November 10th, 2020. I trust and hope you're all well and having a great week so far. Now, we have a very interesting and timely presentation for you today with a company that we feel is particularly well positioned to benefit from the recent and quite dramatic upward trend for precious metals pricing. Price of silver is currently just a little over $24 an ounce after recently hitting nearly $30 an ounce, and it's currently up about 60% from the $14 per ounce level we experienced just a few months ago. So this is a great time to be taking a close look at a company that we believe is on the cusp of delineating a large, high-grade silver district, possibly along the same lines of what Silvercrest Metals did with their Las Chispas property, which now has a market cap well in excess of about $1.5 billion now. Following today's presentation, which should last about 45 minutes, we'll have a short Q&A session. That being said, if you have a question during the presentation, simply click on the Q&A icon on the Zoom taskbar, type in your question, and we'll be sure to get it addressed during the meeting. Now, during the Q&A portion of the presentation, if you'd like to ask a question, simply click on the Raise Your Hand icon on the taskbar. We'll enable your microphone, and note that you'll need to turn your mic on as well in order for us to hear you. Also, post the presentation, we'll be sending out a brief survey to complete to have you give us your impressions on the company and key takeaways from today's meetings. It's important that you get the survey back to us in a timely manner so we can get that information back to the company. Okay, let's get started. Silver Tiger Metals is an exploration stage junior mining company with primary operations in Mexico. Silver Tiger Metals' flagship property is the El Tigre project located in the state of Sonora, Mexico, and hosted by what all accounts, based on what both historical production and early exploration work looks to be a massive, high-grade silver project. This is a district-scale play covering several high-grade epithermal vein systems along a strike length of roughly 20 miles. Past production from the El Tigre mine, located in the heart of this project area, was roughly 100 million ounces of silver produced at an average grade of 2 kilograms per ton, or 2,000 grams per ton. So this really is hallowed ground in terms of historical silver production. Silver Tiger Metals is fully cashed up and has an extensive 10,000-meter drill program going on at this time with 3 drills turning. So we'll expect to see a lot of data coming out as they execute the current drill program. Silver Tiger Metals trades on the OTCQX exchange under the ticker symbol SLVTF, and on the TSX Venture Exchange as SLVR, and is currently trading around 49 cents per share US, represents a market cap of roughly $105 million. With us today to discuss Silver Tiger Metals operations, current drill program, and near-term investment catalysts is the company's president and CEO, Mr. Glenn Jessome. Hi, Glenn. How are you today?
Clay, thanks for having me. Great.
You bet. Great to have you on the program. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Look, thank you, folks, for taking the time today to hear about our project in Mexico. The first thing I'd like to say is we've been in Mexico a long time. We're in a small city on the east coast of Canada, Halifax, but have been working on mine projects in Mexico for over 25 years, our group and our team. I think it's very important that when you look at any investment in any project in precious metals, you first start with the team and the jurisdiction they're in. How long has that team been in the jurisdiction? We've been there 25 years. And how many projects have they built into mines and or sold to majors? We have built over our period there 3 large producing mines in Mexico. We'll talk about them briefly. We've developed 2 more, which we've sold to majors. The last one being 2 years ago, or a bit more, to Agnico Eagle, one of the preeminent gold mining companies in the world. This project we have is in Sonora. We saw that as we did the introduction. It's contiguous or a neighbor to the United States. It's in the northwest corner of Mexico. Great mining jurisdiction. Many mines around. We'll look at a few of them on that prolific Sierra Madre trend. We all heard about that in the old movies, the silver in Mexico. That trend goes for thousands of kilometers, and some of the biggest silver mines in the world are on it, many of them close to us. But really, let's talk about what we have there. Then we'll talk a little bit about the team, and then what we've done and what we're going to do. Look, my job for our group as simple. I'm a securities lawyer. All of our companies are public, have been public. They trade here in our TSX exchange. I work closely with the TSX. I'm on the National Advisory Committee for that, the biggest exchange in Canada. We also are listed in the States, OTCQX. I think Clay mentioned that. But my job is really simple. Build the public company, Silver Tiger, and then when we find the asset we need, and through our work in Mexico and experience there, usually it's owned many times by another public company. We have to go buy that public company and get the asset. That's exactly what we did here. And then my last part of my job is like when we had the Agnico deal to help sell that asset if we don't build a mine on it. And we're fine doing either one. We'll talk about that more. But look, this asset is beautiful. Bottom of the market, 17-ish. Technical team, I got called to Hermosillo, which is 2 hours southwest city of a million, where we've been based as a technical team for 25 years. We need this asset. What was it? Well, the team told me immediately it was huge, 35 kilometers long, a beautiful 25 kilometers. The Sierra Madre ran right through the center of it where I marked. But really why we had to have it and why I quickly saw we had to have it after them telling me about it was the old El Tigre mine. Big American mine. Talk a little bit about that. Turn of the century, 1908, 1930, 100 million silver equivalent ounces came out of that mine at an average grade of over 2 kilograms per ton. Certainly had our attention. The highest grade mine we'd seen in Mexico in our 25 years there, old mine. Look, you know, everybody can tell you they're the best explorers in Mexico. They find the most mines. Yeah, I'm not saying we're garbage men. But look, all the new discovery, they've been mining Mexico for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, right back to the Spanish. And even before that, the new discoveries are usually all of ours, and most all, around or under the head frames of old Spanish or foreign-owned mines, many of these foreign-owned mines being American, and everybody kind of left, especially the Americans, around 1929 when the Great Depression came and silver went from $1.33 to 29 cents. Exactly what we had here. Beautiful asset. We wanted to have it. The old timers only got a small fraction of what was there, is what we thought. The technical team told me something else very interesting. The old timers only took the veins around the mine. There was 100-meter wide or more gold halo around the old mine that had never been touched. They told me they'd give me 1 million ounces on the books within basically a year of having it. They did that. 43-101 compliant. We'll talk about how we did that. But the exciting part was, the team said, look, those same veins, even though we go 10, 15 kilometers on each side on our package, they continue. But that first 3 kilometers, which I just marked right here, the veins were the same, going north, never been touched by the old timers. High-grade silver veins, still sitting within that 100-meter zone of gold halo mineralization. And, you know, we drilled stuff as high as a meter or 10 kilos up there. So yeah, we think our theory was right. We had to have it. Public company called El Tigre Silver. We bought that for about $12 million Canadian. 2017, delisted that company and took this beautiful asset. A couple of other things we really liked about the asset, if you understand mining in Mexico, there's some things you have to think about, was 100% owned. The royalty had not been given away on this beautiful land package. And this land package is 30,000 hectares, everything inside those gold boxes. That's all our mineral concessions. No ejido, no native people issues. All of our projects before it had that. It's, you know, we deal with it. It just makes it a little more complicated, but it was really nice that we didn't have to hear. All ranch land. We have agreements with all of the ranchers to explore everything inside the box. But look, you know, the little white box there, probably not quite to scale, but let's just say where I just put that block. We know we have an economic deposit. We got to prove it on paper a bit more, but we've been doing this for a long time, so our opinion should matter. We bought that 6,200 hectares, not just the mineral rights. The rancher was willing to part with the land, so we bought that for $1.1 million. Put that under your control early. That's all the brownfields exploration area, all where our resource is, and we'll have a look at that a little bit as we go. Other things we loved about it, look, you know, we come down this federal highway, we're 80 kilometers from the U.S. border. We drive right to the U.S. We drive basically this 2 hours from Hermosillo. We turn and we drive right to the mountain. Fantastic access, and you're really in our backyard where we've been working for 25 years. Serendipity, a power line runs right through this. Goes to Nacasari, a lot of copper mines around us, and basically, excuse me, and that's where the smelter is, so that power line is there. Lots of water on site for our exploration coming out around the old mine, but nice down the road to have with, 20 kilometers or less, this big Angostura Dam put in place by the Mexican government for the farmers. So this thing was ticking a lot of boxes for us. What a beautiful asset to be able to purchase, and off we go. There's a real interesting thing. I'm just going to circle. You guys can come back and look at this later. There's an old history of the old El Tigre mine we put together. Fascinating stuff. Mexican Revolution times, how it came to be found in 1896 first by a bunch of American prospectors. Go back and have a look at that sometime at your convenience. This is on our website. We just launched a new website last week, silvertigermetals.com. You can go find this verified presentation right there on the front page, and go click on that. You'll find that absolutely fascinating. We don't have time to talk about it today. Let's tour the neighborhood. First thing I'm going to talk about, it's going to become important. There's two big copper mines around us, and the reason it's going to become important here is Anaconda. We're in there only for 2 years. 82, 83, one of the biggest American mining companies in the world. They were looking for the next El Tigre over here. They found and built these mines in the 50s. Luckily for us, that Arco bought them in 1977, one of the biggest oil companies in the world, and put them out of business in 83, or they would, and they never came back to El Tigre. But boy, did they ever leave us some good information. Through serendipity, they moved our exploration to warp speed, and I'll show you as we go through this a little later on. I want to talk about a project that, our group out of Halifax, and how we operate and do things in Mexico. And we're going to talk first of all about Silvercrest. That's one of the most exciting, or the most exciting, silver discovery in the world in the last several years. We'll talk a little bit about that. They're on the same trend as us, 95 kilometers away. But first, let's talk about one of our projects that our group worked on with another of our company that is in our group out of Halifax, public company called Santa Gratuitous. I helped very much with this 4 years ago. Our same technical team that works on this project called us all to Mexico and said, we need this. Why we need it is because it's a great gold project. It was owned by another public company that traded here in Canada. They thought they had a moly deposit. We thought it was a good gold deposit. The point was, we acquired a small public company then for $9 million US. We spent $9 million on it, and within 2 years, we sold that for $110 million by the time we got rid of the royalty to Agnico Eagle. That's what this technical team is capable of. In that period, a short period, they delivered a 1 million ounce open pit gold resource with economics. That's the type of work they can do. We'll talk about them in a minute. The cheese paw, look, a lot of the world, like, we've analyst coverage. Anybody who emails me, I can send it. I think we now have 4 analysts covering us. It's all listed on the website if you want to reach out to the analysts there from the big banks here in Canada, independent. A lot of them are starting to say we're the next Silvercrest. Well, we've got a way to go. We're 140 or $30 million Canadian market cap there, 1.5. But there are similarities. 1900 to 1930. Cheese paw was an old foreign-owned mine, Swiss, underground mine. 1929 came, and like the Americans at El Tigre, all of the owners of cheese paw went home. Silver went from $1.33 to 20, less than 20 cents. That's what happened. Both these assets sat for 80 years. We are so lucky to have been able to acquire ours and get it and put it under our control. We're just starting to do what was done at cheese paw in 17, 18, and 19. In 17-ish, their market cap was $3.3 million. They've drilled what the old timers left behind and didn't mine around that old mine, and their market cap today is $1.6 billion. We're just getting going on that with 3 drills turning. We deliver a little resource in the halo around our veins, which makes us a little different than them around the high-grade silver veins. But exciting to be in that comparison, but a long way to go yet. But early days, and when we acquired this in 17, we knew what it could be. Let's go back here one little bit, and I think I'm going to flip back. It's about team, and I have to explain what a great team we have. Don't invest in a securities lawyer in Halifax, Nova Scotia, who tells you he's a miner. We have the guys that drive it. Without this team, we could not do any of these things in Mexico. Dave Duncan, 45-year geologist out of Halifax. He's been working with a gentleman named Ramon Luna, who's been working with us in Halifax for 25 years. These guys find and build big mines. Dave's last gig before we built, or I built Silver Tiger for him, the public company, as a founder, was, he developed 2 mines in a company called Etruscan, and those two mines were Yuga and Agbo. Those were two big deposits he put in for that company, Etruscan. He put in production, and they were sold to Etruscan. Dave wanted his new deal, Silver Tiger. Ramon's been with us for 25 years. We put these two teams together. They're the team that worked together on what I said, that Santa Gratuitous asset. Within 2 years of owning, we sold it to Agnico Eagle. Ramon's track record with us in Mexico is beyond impeccable. The Ocampo mine, market cap on your NYSE of $2.2 billion. El Cubo, basically a market cap. I think I've lost the presentation, guys. Can you see it still?
Yeah, I can see it here. Let's see, maybe just refresh on your side.
Yeah, apologize for that, guys. I think I might have to go reshare that, folks. Sorry about that. Let's just go do that now. Okay?
No worries.
Okay, a second. Let's see if we can bring it back to life. That sometimes happens with technology. There we go. You should see it, folks. Great. Apologize for that. Ocampo went to $2.2 billion on your NYSE. El Cubo was a mine we put in production out of Halifax. And basically that mine we mined that for a long time, sold to Endeavour Silver for $250 million. The next mine that we worked on was the Orion deposit. We sold that, to Capital Gold. In turn on that asset, Capital Gold sold to Alamos. Santa Gratuitous, I told you what this same team did with Agnico in less than 2 years. And of course, this team is now exploiting El Tigre. We're so lucky to have them. Let's now move and talk about what we did and what we're going to do. What you see here is the area we're going to talk about for the rest. We've got 35 kilometers. We'll talk about that green fields at the end, but it's the brown fields we really got to focus on here. That's that 7 or 8 kilometers we're talking about right here, where we're doing all of our work. We've done our work and we're doing more work. We have the old El Tigre mine right here, mined out, 100 million silver equivalent ounces, about 2 kilos. They didn't get all the high grade. There was a wide halo of gold. We delivered a 1 million ounce open pit bulk tonnage resource to 150 meters from surface in less than a year of drilling. We'll talk about that. But here's the exciting part. The 3 or 4 kilometers of the veins going north, the old timers never touched them. We have a drill here, 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 turning. The results imminent. We're going to talk about some, we're going to show you some of those super high grade results we've already hit, especially up here, stuff as high as 10 kilos over a meter, why that was so important. We'll go underground and we'll look at that. All of this posted in that same wide alteration zone. So exciting stuff. Look, I like to show this little one, especially when I'm talking to my American friends to the south. This was the old El Tigre mine, turned 1915-ish, 20. Big mine, 1,000 people there. They ran the power from Douglas, Arizona. That history section talks a lot about all of that. You know, so happy to be able to put this district, the historic El Tigre district, under our full control. We're going to do some great things. Look, we're not going to talk here very much about the brown fields. The green fields, they go 15 kilometers to the south, 15 to the north. We're going to focus right on the middle where we're doing all our work. But boy, there's mines all across this thing. We've been in high-grade gold and silver. The veins just continue at surface. We got a plan for that. We'll talk about it at the end. But right now, I got 10 to the knitting. And the knitting is first 1 million ounces is on the book. How do we get to the next million to make that 2 million? And a lot of it, we think, is going to be an open pit before we go underground.
Hey, Glenn.
Yes, sir.
Got a quick question from the crew here.
Hello.
Cynthia, go ahead. Cynthia, did you have a question for Glenn? Oh.
Maybe we've lost her.
No, she's on. She's got her microphone on. Maybe she's just not on. Maybe it's not working. But Cynthia, if you could just type that question into us in your Q&A section, and we could, here it is. Sorry. Have these high-grade deposits been confirmed, and why has it not been worked for such a long time?
Well, we already answered that question. Yeah, we have 1 million books and 1 million ounces already we've delivered in 43-101. So just wait for the rest, Cindy, and we'll show you that. But why did they sit? Why did the 195 kilometers from me sit, and this one? Because all the foreign owners went home in 1929 when silver went from $1.33 to less than 20 cents. The assets just to the south was exactly the same. They started working on in 2017. It's gone from a market cap of 3.3 to 1.6 billion today, drilling what the old timers left behind. Just stay tuned. You'll see some of the resource we've delivered already, what we think. But that's the answer. And we had that one on the first slide, but thank you for that question. Ready to go, Clay?
Yeah, let's go.
So basically, the old El Tigre mine is here. You can see that was mined out. We've got the first 1,000,000 ounces on the books, 43,101, which means the real ounces in the ground. The reports on CDR, we'll go look at some of that. Those are real ounces. We're getting from the analysts, the independent mining engineers and geologists, about $90 million for those first pass of drilling. And anyone who wants to see the analyst coverage, they go to the website or request me to send it to them, and they can get that from the banks. These 3 kilometers to the north are really the unmined portion, which is really the prize for us right now, what we're focusing on. There's so many targets here. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about Geology 101 for a minute, if we could. And really what you always have here is these are large epithermal, low sulfidation systems. All the big deposits in the Sierra Madre are the same. It's what we've been working on for 25 years. You got an upper volcanic, you've got a lower volcanic, and you basically got that transition zone, in this case called the El Tigre structure, that wide zone that is basically where these deposits are found. Ours, extremely wide. Why we're seeing that gold halo around these high-grade silver veins. And why that's important, open pit mining. That's really a little bit different than you're seeing in our big friend to the south, Silvercrest, that have already delivered that $1.5, $1.6 billion of market cap over the past several years. If we look at this, what I want to rotate so you understand that layer and what the upper and lower volcanics, everybody should. If you're going to invest in an asset, at least understand the basic geology. You don't have to be a geologist, but if I rotate this, you can see that top of the mountain is the upper volcanics, the lower part of the valley, the lower volcanics, and that transition zone. See that yellow rock? That's 100, 150 meters wide. It's in that layer, which goes right out and comes out on the other side, that we find these veins at surface. Most of our intercepts are 50, 60 meters from surface in the veins. You'll start to see that as our drill results come out. Very interesting over here, though, Clay. When we got on the other side of the mountain, we've added all this. We found the whole vein set over here again. I'll show you some of that exciting stuff, and that's really greenfields, but we got a plan to get at that. Let's go and talk about that old El Tigre mine. Why it was so important for us? Sure, it's given us our first $100 million worth of real NAV, not a drill hole here or there, and nobody wins it. I bet on that drill hole or that drill hole. You always have to have NAV, net asset value backing up your market cap. We're 100, 130, 125. When I go to 200, I hope to have 150, because you get that by delivering ounces with economics. We'll talk about that near the end. So this here is the old mine. She's a beautiful old mine, mined out, still have 100 million ounces. I'm going to show you how we put those on the books in less than a year. The power of this mine was the grade. You can see it was a big American mine, 1.5 kilometers. That's all they mined of the 35 kilometers you have under our control. They went down for half a meat kilometer, 15 levels, but it was the absolute grade. The old timers only wanted maybe that much, a meter. Even though the average width of the veins was 3 meters, they wanted that super high grade. We'll talk about that in a minute. You really see that. Now, look, this is first pass in this whole, we're 25% done at the old mine. We're so excited about the unmined veins of the north. We'll get back in here. The fourth drill rig's actually on the way. This thing goes underground for up to 1 kilometer. I'll show you why we think that. We only drilled one of the 3 veins there. One of the veins to the west, actually, the old timers never mind. We'll come back and we'll fill that in too. Maybe 25% of the way done. We'll talk about that here in a bit. How we think it's just the ounces just around the old mine are going to go way up, and the grade's going to go get way better. But I'm going to rotate this for plan view from the very top. See the black? That was the stope. That's what they took out. You can see it almost disappears. They wanted a meter. It was so high grade. Why? Why? Because it's where these 2 veins came together. And what happened, I'm going to show you when we go to the north why we're so excited about the next clavos. And a clavo is a high-grade ore shoot. All we look for along strike here is when you find a mine in Mexico, you don't find one 10 million ounce deposit. If it's a 10 million ounce deposit, there's not one big pit. You find 1 million, Then you find another ore shoot a little further along the strike. Pinot Salt is a great example, like Nico. 8 or 9 pits along 10 kilometers, which is a mine that's been in production for over 30 years now. Our Ocampo mine that we did was the same way. 5, 6, 7 pits that add up to multi-million ounce deposits. Here, why this super high-grade mine was here, just like we're seeing to the north, 2 veins came together. El Tigre, and that continues north. We're drilling on that now, 2-3 kilometers to the north, where the mining stopped here. And the site's Caleigh vein came together. That's the clavos right there. That's that high-grade ore shoot that goes for a kilometer in this system. They went to 450. We have a drill hole at 700 meters, still great mineralization, never touched. We'll get to that. Kilo, beautiful results. When you got in here, that's when everything changed. 10, 20, 30. We had all the up to 50 kilograms per ton silver. Why did we know that? Our friends Anaconda. They were in there for 2 years. Luckily, they went out of business. And Arco, who became BP, one of the biggest oil companies in the world, parked them. Now, a lot of that happened in the 80s. A lot of the mining companies got bought by the big oil. If any of you have been around for that, you remember it. They saved all the mining records, every underground mining record, every stope record, 5,000 underground samples. It was all stored in the University of Wyoming in the Anaconda collection. That's still there. You can go look at it to this day. They were all over the world, Africa, everything else. We found everything. Took us 2 weeks to photocopy all the records. We digitized it all. It's all in this record now. But you know why it was so important? You're looking for the next El Tigre, which would be an asset today worth billions of dollars if it was whole. We still got 100 million on the first pass in NAV already. You have to understand what you're looking for. And having all those records allowed us to do that and allowed us to see what kind of crazy super grade was here. Why is it important? Tenor grade. You have a district like we have, if you find the next clavos, and I'll show you where we think the next one is 2 kilometers to the north, the grade should be consistent across the district. Not always, but in our experience, that's what we've seen. What we knew the old timers didn't want was around all these veins, there's 100-meter wide, even including in the north, never touched, gold halo mineralization. What you're looking at right there is our real underground resource model. You ask if it's proven, Cindy, that's 1 million ounces right there, gold. Open pitable, drilled by us. I'll show you how we did it. It only goes down to 150 meters. That's that El Tigre structure. It's only in that yellow rock. We got some great pictures that'll really explain that, Cindy, and I see your name there, so you can understand how quickly we're going to add ounces here and that they're real. That's 43101 on CDAR, independent geological report. You can go read it. I'll show you a few of those results. It's about 1 gram per ton. Beautiful stuff, open pit, heap leachable, but it's just the start for us because as you'll see, and I'll show you on the next one, when we look at the mine, you can see the drilling. We bought, there's the old Anaconda guys. They left us before they went out of business. They drilled 30, I think 22 holes, 23 holes. We have all their core. I'm going to show you a few of their holes because they were really important before they went out of business. Lucky they did, and all over the world they left. We bought the company that left us that much meters, and then we drilled our first 12,000 meters, and you can see all of our drill holes. You can go on this model, you can look at every one. There they are, and they're all piercing that 100 meters wide on average. I'll show you a few of them. Beautiful 1 million ounces. Remember, 1 million ounces, the veins were gone. To the north, we're staying the same. Veins are still all in it intact. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we only drilled one of the veins. This is the El Tigre, the one going up the center. We got a 4th drill coming. The 3 are concentrating in the high grade unmined to the north. But this is the site's Caleigh. There's a halo here we're going to add in. We've stepped out 500 meters just with one of these. It keeps going for 12 kilometers, that El Tigre in the veins. We hit, I think it was 1.5 meters, 10 grams per ton gold. We're going to fill that in. None of that was mined. Here's the really interesting one, and it's sort of a lot of stuff you saw at Silvercrest where the old timers just stopped. You ask what happened, they just stopped and went home and they never came back. And because of the Great Depression, lucky for us, the old timers stopped right here. This is the western vein. This vein we've now mapped and sampled. It goes for a whole 1.5 kilometers. It was only mined here, 250 meters along strike, because that's when they stopped, down to about 5 levels, not 15. We have the underground mining records. When they stopped, everything they were mining at the bottom of that 5th stope was about 2 kilos. So you know we're going to get the drill back in here and add this, and then of course we're going to add all this. We see the 1 million ounces going up very quickly. We see the grade going up. It's a dip slope deposit. The strip, we guess, it's not on paper yet, about 3 to 1. We've only delivered the first 1,000,000 ounces, open pitable. That we think by the time we're done, it's going to be closer to 2 to 1. And of course, that new result, probably this time next year, we'll publish a new resource estimate, 43-101 compliant. You all know what that means. We'll add a lot of ounces. We'll start to flow down from the unmined veins to the north. This will become better, but we'll also do the first part of what we call the economics. We'll do some geotechnical drilling around this, delineating the pit. We'll do more metallurgy, and you'll see the first economic report, because that's of great value. That means you're moving it from just ounces in the ground to the economics of how we're going to get those out of the ground. You'll see that, I'm guessing, by this time next year. First pass from the analyst coverage, and it's all available if you want to get it. Independence, Stifel GMP, Echelon, those banks have all put out information on us, full analyst coverage. They're calling for about $1.30 on average across the board. We're trading at about probably 62, 63. That's Canadian now. So that's their coverage. That's what they're calling for. They're giving us probably $90 million on average for that first pass. It's going to get way better when we add everything in. But now, guys, let's get a few things on the way so I can show you. But the last 20 minutes of this thing, we've got to get north and talk about the high grade and the wide zones up there where it's not been mined. Look, not sexy drilling. That's our drilling. 12,000 meters to deliver that asset. Big wide zones, 120 meters, 1.3 grams per ton gold, 100 meters of 1.25 grams. Remember, the high-grade vein was gone, and we still got that beautiful starter resource from surface. 150 meters is all that was. This is an interesting hole. We're going to get in here, not now, maybe this time next year, start thinking about it. That's our drilling to 150 meters. The old-timers went home at 450. They just went home. In our experience, these things go for about 1 kilometer. We've got one drill hole, our friends Anaconda, thinking like we thought, this thing goes deep. They drilled a hole at 700 meters for us and left it, 1.5 meters of over 4 grams per ton gold. We'll get down here and start to develop this later next year. And that means drift in from the other side of the west side of the hill this thing's on, probably about a 750 meter drift. But that's not for today. What's for today really is and we've got it. Look, I'll end on this. There's the 500 meters. The mine goes that way for 1.5 kilometers. We stepped out 0.5 kilometer. It was one of these. The veins continue. We walk on it. We got 1.5 meters, 10 grams. That's free. We just got to drill that and add it in. We'll get to that here starting before Christmas and in through the spring of next year. But let's really get up and get to the exciting part. I got to orient us again, because now we're going to spend the rest on the high grade in the north, the results we've seen so far, and the results we're going to expect, and which are imminent. You know what we're doing here at the old mine? I add that other vein in. Nice 1,000,000 ounces on the books, real value. The analysts love that. The investment banks love that. But up here, the 3-4 kilometers, you can see it. That's what was the prize. See all the veins? Same veins going north. They all came together again. That's what we think is another clavos. We drilled up to 10 kilos here. I'll show you that in a minute. Drill here and a drill here. Results should start coming anytime. And then, I think we're going to be able to bang out results, if not every week, every 2 weeks after that, since we've built up such a good drill inventory. This is the exciting part, and I want to show you why we really acquired the project and why we're so excited about what we've seen. To orient you, the old mine goes for 1.6 kilometers that way. You know what we've done. It's going to get much better. That was mined. None of these 3 kilometers were mined. This is the continuing veins. You can see they're the same veins. I'm going to blow this up so you can see here about 2 kilometers almost north. And you can see here in the center, very important. See all the veins? They all came together. The El Tigre, this one's the Fundador, really, the Sui. And 2 more we discovered, the Caleigh, named after my 14-year-old daughter, and the Escondido, or the Eagle. They all came together in that 100-meter wide, as we start to see it evolve, El Tigre formation. We'll show you that. Let's blow that up so I can show you one of the most important holes. Last drill hole of our last program, we said, okay, let's test our theory. Let's drill 4, 5, 6 holes up here. We reported them all. They were all in the veins, kilo or more. I think we had a 3.6, a 2.5, but this one was special. 50 meters from surface, we intersected the Caleigh. In this intercept, we had 1 meter of 10 kilos. Why was that important? Now we're 2 kilometers north in the unmined veins, where we think the next El Tigre might be, and we're seeing the same grade the old timers went after. close to surface. That was exciting. We just let the drill, no magic, run. The veins are all together. Remember how important that is where they intersect, like they did at the sites Caleigh and El Tigre. And we got 1.5 meters of, I think, 1 kilo. We're going to go look at a cartoon of that. Very important cartoon to kind of tie all this together. Let's zoom back out. Let's go back up now. We're going to go, that was 2 kilometers north in the unmined veins. Let's go 3. Our dear friends Anaconda. I keep saying I'm glad they didn't come back and they were put out of business by Arco. Boy, they did some great work. One thing they drilled, they were looking for the next El Tigre. They drilled 10 or 15 holes up here. This was the one that they put the most interest in. We have the quarry of all their records also from the University of Wyoming. They drilled close to surface, 1.5 meters at 22 grams per ton gold, kilo of silver. But they thought they were onto something here. They were one of the biggest mining companies in the world at the time. They drifted for 350 meters to get at what they thought they found. And we got in the first 150 meters of high-grade gold and silver. We sampled it all. Then it caved. It wasn't safe to go further. But our second drill, so I should say here, our first drill started here on September 15th-ish, cutting holes in the Caleigh and the Protectora. Results here are imminent. Probably about the 1st of October, we started cutting holes here in this area. That was our second drill, drill number 2. This is drill number 1, drill number 2. Those results are a couple of weeks behind these ones. And you'll see these coming out. Remember, 3 kilometers along that strike north. Our third drill is now back on the mountain. Has been on the mountain for probably 2 weeks. And it's the last one to start. And where we put that one, it's gone back south now. Now we're just a couple of 100 meters north of the end of the old mine. And that's probably on its second hole now. So a little later to get those results, all of this unmined. The fourth drill will be there before Christmas. You know what that's going to do. It's going to go finish the job on the resource down there over the next 6 or 8 months in contemplation of our next resource estimate. Let's go to the next one. I think this is really important to shape it up. It's a great cartoon. Where we are now, folks, is we are 2 kilometers north of the end of the old mine and the unmined veins. And this is a cartoon. So let's just mark that here. Cross section, you're cutting down, as a cross section through there. You can see the 2 veins where they're close together. We're talking with Caleigh and the Protectora. Okay, you can see our hole, 50 meters from surface, got 3 meters, 36 grams per ton gold, which is about the width of the old veins at the old mine, but it was that meter of 1 kilo in there, which was really exciting. And then we let it go for another 50 meters, 90 meters from surface, and we got 1.5 meters of 1 kilo. The magic up here, and this is where we're drilling now, so let me just show you. We'll put that. But here's what people, it's so exciting for us. We walk on the mineralization. This is from surface, not 200 meters down we're intercepting this. We actually can sample all these veins all along this, and this goes for another 2 kilometers, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers north from the mine. We actually not only can sample the vein at surface, but that gold alteration zone around it. Here's the magic stuff. This is why we're so excited, is that all of these veins, like remember the old mine, it was backwards. They took all the high grade and we've already drilled off a beautiful starter pit on the first pass, which is going to be worth, the pit's going to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars to us at NAV, and you just take it out from surface. What we see to the north is these intact veins that haven't been mined are in this same 100, 150 wide El Tigre formation, and that's where the outside that silver vein. The silver vein is about 80% silver, mostly silver. The gold disseminates out, but it's a hard stop once it gets to the bottom of that. And they tighten up and it stays in the vein. You go underground from here. The old time, they took all the high grade, we drilled off a pit. Up here, you know what we want to prove. We got the high grade and it's hosed in El Tigre, so the first 150 meters is out in a pit. How we proven that and watch for it in our drill results, I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but our drill number 1 I told you about, it's been drilling since September 15th. The holes are like this. Okay. Move it up here and we do this. So you're going to see results come out where they're going to say, I'm making this up. Okay, what we hope is, let's say we got 0.5 meter or 1 meter of 1 kilo. Let's just say, beautiful high-grade silver. But what we love to see more is that first 20, 30, 15 meters of a gold mineralization up to 1 gram, 1.5 grams outside of that. Because that's the stuff, like at the old mine, which will allow us to take out an open pit, not proven yet, and then go underground for 700, 800 meters and clean up the veins. That's the theory so far. We're very excited about what we're seeing, and there's a lot of drilling to be done. We'll keep stepping out. You can think this is a cross section. We'll just keep going north 25, 50 meters, and you'll see lots of these cross sections with these 2 veins in it. What we're starting to see, though, is very exciting, as we start to go north, remember I told you those veins you saw from that, they're coming closer together, which is a very good thing. And we think that as that happens, the alteration zone, instead of being around two of them, will come together to be around both of them. So stay tuned for that. We're almost done. I know there's been a lot of information, but let me get you up here to what I think is just a slide that I'm so pleased about. What we're looking at here when this loads, and it's a little interactive slide, is this is a mineralized system, 25 kilometers. That's what we bought. Like you're looking at our claim block. Everything inside that blue lines is ours. That is 35 kilometers long, as I said, but now we're starting to see mineralization over 25 kilometers. Let me blow that up and show you what that means and put it in perspective about how much potential we have here. We have mapped and sampled all this. That's about 20 kilometers or a little bit more. To put in perspective where our work is, there's the old El Tigre mine. 1 million ounces delivered there, like boom. We're only a bit done there. It's open for 15 kilometers, 12, 13 kilometers in that same El Tigre structure to the south. There is what we're drilling on right now, unmined veins to the north, three drills. Then it just continues up here for another 12 kilometers, 10, 12 kilometers, mines all along it, including the Polaris mine. We've mapped and sampled. You can see the veins just continue up here, high-grade gold and silver. We've been in this high-grade gold and silver. We've been in Louis de Oro, a mine from about the same vintage, and La Mancha, and the El Toro mine, all high-grade gold and silver. I'm going to put a box around it. The last piece is, this was very exciting. When we got on the other side, remember the top of the mountain? We didn't ever own, I had to add this whole land piece on. And the reason I did 6,000 hectares is when we got on the other side and that El Tigre, that beautiful wide zone came out, of course, what did we find? The veins had repeated again. We called that Santa Maria. Here's the point. This is where, let me get a better color. This is where we have done our brownfields work. This, never had a drill bit. Never had a drill bit. Never had a drill bit. We're not going to start drilling that before Christmas for sure. We're going to focus right here. We're going to talk about that. But what we do now is we get geologists 2 weeks at a time, mapping and sampling this to start it now. By spring, we'll be ready to get the manned portable drillings changed. Used to haul big rigs around. You can see people's pictures on their websites with bulldozers doing HQ core. Now you got manned portable HQ drills that are more powerful than those used to be on the back of pickup trucks. You run over, build a pad, you start putting holes in. You'll see them. Let's just say second quarter of next year. Can't wait to see them. Just can't. But right now, with our 10, 11 million bucks we got in the bank, we're going to spend it pretty hard here on what we call the old brownfields area. You can see it inside our land package. And to sum up where we are, we'll talk a little bit about money, plans, adding ounces, what we think we're going to do. It's all about not drilling holes to see, oh, I got to hit. It's about drilling ounces, delivering them in the 43-101. We already have our first, as you know, million right here in the first pass. This is going to get much better. The fourth drill is coming in here. We're going to add the other vein. We're going to step out to the south. We're going to drill this vein. Ounces go way up for starter. And the grade goes up. And we start to do the economic work, PEA work. About this time next year, you'll see that. Add ounces, move to economics. Here, we're just starting to scratch the surface. Drill here, and drill here. I've explained all that. That we'll start stepping out north along the Protectora. We'll start moving this way. This one will go that way. All these sections you drill off, you're going to add ounces. And you're going to continue that those ounces will at some point flow down here. More ounces, move it to economics. Your NAV goes from the 90 we already have on a first pass. I always want my NAV to be close to my market cap. I never want to have 25 drill holes and a market cap $200 million. I wouldn't sleep at night because it can't be sustained. You have to add ounces because we get it one of two ways. That's all we've controlled in Mexico for 25 years is we can build a mine. We've done it. Go look at our track record. We can build a mine, and everything we do here is as though we're going to build a mine. Or sometimes, like Adico came along, they have to have the asset, but they want you to do the same thing. If anybody's going to ever acquire you, they don't draw drill holes. They acquire ounces, and economics means it's de-risked. So that's what our plan is going to be. Money, I could have raised as much money as I wanted to in the summer. We turned down a lot of money. It was so you know how things worked. We got back on the mountain June 1st. We were put off the mountain with COVID, but we got back on June 1st. Everybody said, when are you drilling? I said, we're drilling September 15th. It's rainy season in the Sierra Madre. We're going to get everything ready so that we can have, in a COVID world, 100 people up here and 4 drill rigs going. That's what we have now. And that meant from June 1st to September 15th, we had a wonderful camp. It had me made ready for COVID, new sanitation, new buildings. We had to put a medical staff up there. Everybody's tested every week on the way in. We've had no issues whatsoever to this point. You have to get ready with the logistics so 4 drill rigs could do what we've been doing now for several months. That was what we did to get to the point where we could drill. And since then, we've been delivering our results. So that was the first step. So I wasn't going to raise any money because we didn't need it until September 15th, until the end of August, getting to the point. And really what happened was I was going to raise about $8 million Canadian. That's all we needed to get the drilling going here and start down here. It was going to be a bought deal, private placement. The banks were all over. You can see when they started giving analyst coverage and telling the story about our asset. But really what, started to happen, the market got a little too hot, I thought. A drill hole here or there. We're getting huge valuations that I didn't think were maintainable. But we were just slow and steady, moving up from our 30 cents to our 40 cents to our 50 cents to our 60. And now drill results will come. And on the basis of success there, we'll increase our value and keep on going. I got cornered end of July by Eric Sprott. We talked to all the institutions, and 8 of the top resource institutions for a company like ours in the world. I mean, New York, San Francisco, Hong Kong, Toronto. And they came and they offered $25 million on a July evening at my cottage, the end of July. I think they were surprised when I said, absolutely not. We know what we think our value is going to be when we deliver our first holes through here in the fall. But I do need to raise the money. So we ended up negotiating. We punted back 14 million. We took 11. 4 of it went to Eric Sprott. I was very happy, though, the other 7 got split. There was no retail among those 8 institutions. They all got about a 30% fill. We really wanted to have them on our share register. And we've been at it ever since. We're fully funded for the next 20,000 meters. And you know what we're going to do with it. We're going to drill here and add ounces. We're going to drill here and add ounces. We're going to move this all towards economics, especially down here faster. By this time next year, you'll see the resource estimate with economics. And of course, now we're going to start, and I told you what we're going to do as we start to get out. The second part of that quietly will be to do all the work outside the brownfields, which are right here, where we're concentrating ounces and economics, to say, man, look at this. I mean, we have a district. That's really what we bought. And they'll be drilling on this thing. I'll be long dead, and they'll still be drilling on LT Ray. To end up, shareholdings, I'm the largest shareholder. No free stock. I've got $2 million of my own dollars in, 13, 14 million shares under my control. I'm much more happy that my management team, those technical guys and the guys who've been with us forever, we own 15% of the company between us. And we get out one of 2 ways. We build a mine, or we sell to a major. There's no other way for any of us to make any money. So anyone who invests with us basically is either in for the short term if they want to be, but if you're with us, it's the long term. So that's really where we are. It's about track record. It's about done this many times in Mexico. This is just the next one that we're going to exploit and create great value of. We're already well on our way, and I'll take any questions that anyone may have.
Great presentation, Glenn. Really exciting what you've got going on at LT Gray. It's a big box program. You're fully funded. Looks like you had a chance to take a lot more money, which is, we like to see that, because it kind of, when you don't take so much money down here, we know that you've got something coming down the pike that's probably worth a lot of value. So you don't want to sell it too short. You're 100% equity, right? You don't have any debt.
Oh, we have no debt whatsoever. Absolutely, all equity. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was one of the questions. Did you have a line?
Oh, no, debt.
Line.
Look, where we only consider debt is when we get to the point where there's a couple million ounces here, and we're going to start making decisions on build. Will we go in and put debt on this to build the mine? That's the only time you can see debt here, and that's a little ways out yet.
Understood. So, I mean, you couldn't be bringing this forward at a better time with silver at $24 an ounce. One of my questions, and we've got some of the questions from the group, but one of mine was really quick. What do you know about, you've got some pretty good records about what was going on at depth at the Tigre proper mine. Do you think that carries through in the northern part of the district, or have you had much experience? You have that one deep hole up there, but
I'm going to show you a real interesting thing. That's a great question. And just let me get up here and see if I can get some of this, the right one. Yeah, here it is here. Look, the first thing we did, like what Silvercrest did, when we got and we started looking at the north, the first thing, this is the 3 kilometers to the north, okay? Mind. Now, back in the day, the old timers, they went home. I told you they went home, but they were getting to the north. They didn't drill. There's a little bit of hand diamond drilling underground again, but what they did exploration at was 20, 30 meters. As we started, especially in 18 and 19, when I just stopped drilling in 18, after 19. It was just, I would blow my brains out. Nobody cared about silver. They were all chasing marijuana here in Canada. We didn't. We just kept mining. What we did is the cheapest exploration with 3, 4, 5 gels on the ground, and we mapped and sampled this to death. And as we started to look under the underbrush, all these little red blobs you see, they were 20, 30, 40 meter exploration adits. You can see our guys in one. We got in. That's how they went into the vein and they sampled. There was no drilling back then. We started to find, look at these things. I mean, unbelievable. 5 meters of 50 grams. These are all across the 3 kilometers. Boy, did that help us with our drilling. But this one here is incredible. Right here on the Protectora. Now remember, we're drilling about here now, right? We're going to step, this is 2 kilometers almost. We're going to be stepping out. And this is, look at it's all in that LT grade. But up here, there were 2 drifts. One was, and it was on the side of a cliff. So this is how much depth we know we have guaranteed already. Is one drift we get in high grade gold and silver, and we went down to the bottom of where the hill was, and there was another one 250 meters vertically below it, super high grade gold and silver. So without having those drill holes, we already know we've got 200 meters of depth right there. We expect that these veins, look, it's not rocket science what happens. This is an epithermal system. This didn't fall out of the sky. Okay, all of this. This is from great depth. That's just how they work. We know, and we've got drill holes. So yeah, we're pretty confident this is going to be a very deep system like the one at LT grade. They're the same system. It's here and it's right there.
Right. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'd like to open up the floor to some questions. If anyone that's listening in would like to ask a question, you can type it into your Q&A box, or if you'd like to raise your hand, we'll light up your mic. You can ask Glenn your question. Real quick announcement while we're doing that, a couple of them. Today's code word is bluefin. Again, the word is bluefin. You'll need that for your feedback report. Also, as Glenn mentioned earlier, they have a brand new website. We recommend everyone getting over there and taking a look at what they have. It's Silver Tiger Metals, plural, metals.com. A lot of these videos that Glenn's showing on the screen right now are there. It's showing the great grid of roads. I'll let you tell us what that is, Glenn.
Guys, what I want to go back and I'm going to show you on our website, it's built around this Verify technology. It's the future of presenting resource projects. What I've taken you through, I've shown you about 1%. Go on the website, it's right on the front page, click it, and I'm going to show you what you get. We've got drone footage of the entire trend. This is an example. You see one of our old drill rigs, hanging up here, the old heavy ones. Now they're a third of that size because they're man portables. But you can see, one thing I didn't say, we figure there's $12, $15 million worth of roads, either built by Anaconda or that public company I acquired, across the entire thing. You can see these roads, worth a fortune to us. Actually, as we go by here, you can see on the right, see that red? That's that red Altigre structure. You can see it coming right to service. And right there, if you keep going on that, you actually can see one of the openings down in the old mine. There's tons of this stuff. I'm just going to go back and show you how I did this. Is you just go to that front page. That's one of the front third or fourth slide in. You just click here, and it takes you into all of these. And I mean, you know, there's pictures of the old mine. There's all kinds of veins. You can go up to north. Look at this one up here is incredible. This is one that's out in our green fields. This is called the Chula vein. Not even anything I've talked about today. We got on the other side of the canyon, went north. It goes for kilometers. Look at that vein coming out right surface. That's our guys on it. We've not done anything but sample at high-grade gold and silver. When you get across the top there and you look down where this goes down back into the next valley, and these valleys cut across every 2 kilometers. That's where you really see it. This thing just keeps going. You can just see it right at surface. And that's what we see all along here. But, you know, there's some amazing stuff in here. I go to that website, solartigermetals.com, and please make sure you get in there and play with the Verify. It's just phenomenal stuff. The history of this place is incredible. I mean, You got to get in and start seeing some of the old mining stuff. This is more just for fun. It's not geological. It's one of our guys put it together, talking about the time that Pancho Villa took over the mine, and they asked for $100,000 ransom to get the old mining, the American mining manager back, all paid. Phenomenal history. Just like exciting stuff that it's not why you invest, but I figured you got to be a little entertained as you're going through some of these boring rocks. So there's lots in there. The point is, go play with it. I've not done justice in an hour of the information we have on here.
No, we'll definitely send out the links to some of the verify data, as
Yes.
well as we'll include some of the research. We have some of that. We'll include
I'll
that.
say, I think there's been, I think Echelon a fourth that launched last week, so I better get that to you.
Oh, send that to us. We'll send that one out.
Listen, BMO, BMO, as big as it gets in this space, we had a desk presentation with them a couple of weeks ago, and immediately they launched a research note on us. And for that big bank, biggest in the world as far as resource, bar none, even the Americans, for them to launch a note that quick on a junior like ours, that's quite a feather. So I'll send you that also.
That's very impressive. Absolutely. So
Absolutely.
we've been going to that conference for a long time. Another question. At what stage were the other mines sold to majors compared to where we are with this one? Good question.
I'm not going to speak to other mines. Look, let me just go here. This would be the easiest place to talk about that. I can speak to the last one we sold to a major was to Agnico. Okay, we had that. We bought a public company. I told you about it, Standard Gratuitous. It's in the front of the presentation. We drilled off 100 million. We drilled off 1 million ounces of gold in an open pit setting, which is about on 75-1, about 75 million silver equivalent ounces. There was economics attached to that, a PEA that our team did, filed, it's all public record. And on the basis of that, with the royalty, that fetched about 110 million USD on selling that asset, and we paid 9 for it. We only had it a little over 2 years. I will be very frank. I'm not rushing to go sell this to anybody right now.
Right.
We know how to build mines in Mexico. We've already delivered right here the first 1 million ounces in open pit gold. Okay, so we're going to move and add many ounces here and move that towards PEA. We're going to add all these ounces back in. So we've already been given a NAV in these analyst reports. Go read them. 90 million bucks. I think it's a little rich for now, but it'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but they've given it us. So we're adding a bunch of ounces and we're moving to economics. I'm not going to be tripping on myself now, guys, to sell an asset. I've got 10 million bucks in the bank. Capital is unlimited for our company right now. That's all I'll say.
And you
I'm
got
down capital.
some pretty well-heeled investors who are already in, who I'm sure would give you more capital.
Absolutely, but it's real simple. They want ounces that are de-risked with the economic report, PEA, or then you move it to a pre-fees. Those are the kinds of things we've done. I think we've done in the last 3 years, our team in Mexico, I think they said the other day, on all of our projects, we did 5 PEAs. So we're pretty good at it. So
what's the schedule for a new resource estimate for the northern?
I would say the resource estimate, I said that earlier, was about this time next year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have finished a lot of the drilling to finish off. We're going to add to that first 1 million ounces of gold. And the grade is up. Some of these ounces will drip down, as you know, not all of them, because it's a lot of drilling here. It's only 6 or 7 months from now. And you'll see your first PEA-like study released with this new 43-101. I'm saying by this time next year is my target.
Okay.
You know what, it could be earlier. Honestly, I'm saying next summer, but let's just say you'll be looking at that if we're talking again next November for sure.
Great. Another question, can you comment on any government issues that you have or security issues in the area?
You know what's really beautiful? I'm going to go back to this slide and end on that. It's, look, we've been in Mexico 25 years. Am I going to sit here and tell you that you don't need to deal with, if you're down there with drug cartels sometimes? Absolutely. You just need to factor it into your safety profile, how you work, stay away from areas where they are. Here, really, and I'm dealing with that the drug issue is for one of two reasons you'll run into those in that business, and it's there. You're in a transportation hub. We are certainly not in the middle of this mountain in a transportation hub. Nothing goes through us. There is a small highway here, 50 kilometers from us or 40 kilometers, nothing to it. And this is not a growing area. It's very dry, arid area. So we've had no issues. The biggest issue we had with an intruder, as Dave Duncan, our VPX, says, once a bull, one of the ranchers' bulls, come in, and he played all kinds of havoc with the camp. He was not a friendly guy. That's about the biggest issue we had on security. Government, look, we've been working in Mexico for 25 years. We've built 3 mines. We've done all the things to get pre-feasibilities and permits and actually on the Agnico one, we were moving towards permits before we sold it. So our dealings with the government and with Semernet on the environmental side, it's 25 years long, and it's absolutely perfect. That's all I'll say.
Okay, great. So I think that pretty much, if anyone's got any more final questions, we'll get those in before we wrap up here. Yeah, put that slide back up, Glenn.
Yes,
Perfect.
please.
Great. We really appreciate you coming on with us today and giving us
It's fun.
Yeah, it has. First-hand
look,
look. Oh, we got another quick question here. It's just come in. Let's see. I think someone asked who built the roads. I think that, I mean, the small roads were Anaconda, right?
I would say that you've got the access road was in there from early in the Anaconda days. They had Anaconda for those 2 years. They're unlimited budgets. They were a billion-dollar company. A lot of those exploration roads, especially going to the north, they built. But then remember, El Tigre Silver, they were not that experienced as miners in Mexico. Very, very good people at raising money. They raised in that 11, 12 pop. And another thing for Cindy, why it was there for us is the private owners that took it public. They were all out of Edmonton, Canada. They had this thing privately, just kind of sitting on it, putting it together slowly for like 25, 30 years. So that was the beautiful part, that it didn't get moved forward much there. But they raised about $12, $13 million in 11, 12, that public company I bought, El Tigre Silver. And they did some great things. One of those great things is they left us 10,000 meters of core, but they built a lot of those roads too. So, we absolutely believe there's $12, $15 million worth of road work that we didn't have to touch. And we're building, let's face it, Clay, we're building roads every day. We got 3 dozers up there. Every time we see something develop, and now we need a road right there, and we go to it, and then we build a drill pad. So that's it. Love the questions. I see Cindy's still on there. I want to say I'm an open book, guys. Whoever's asking questions, I want them to know that, Clay. Email from them. You give them my email, and I'd be more than happy to get basically back to people. I really love those questions because it shows people are interested and understand really what they're investing in, and they should understand what they're investing in and the track record of the team they're with. So I think that's very, very important. And I'm going to get that analyst coverage. You make sure you get that to them.
I will.
Remember, I'm going to tell you it's great, folks, because it's my company. But the analyst coverage, they're all mining engineers or geologists. They tell you what they think, and I really am very pleased with the reports when I read them. We don't get comment on those. We just get them. They could say I'm terrible, but none of them have, and they're all calling for big things for Silver Tiger and El Tigre. So that's exciting for a young company like ours to have 4 or 5 companies covering us already. Almost unheard of, Clay.
It really is, especially when you throw names like BMO in there. That's quite a
game changer.
For some notes. That's really good. So yeah, it's an exciting program. We'll get a package of information out to everyone that's on the call today, including some of the research that we just talked about, the links to the verified information that you can get off their verified deck, as well as all the additional information on the website, which again is silvertigermetals.com. We'll send that link out to you as well. Glenn, thanks so much for coming on today. Really enjoyed the presentation. We will include Glenn's contact information, his email, so if you have further questions, feel free to reach out to him directly. It is an exciting program. We love the fact that you've kind of uncovered this big district, kind of marching along the same track that the Silvercrest did with their Las Chispas property, which was a great success story. We're thinking that maybe you're all along the same thing here, and we're looking forward to having you on again, maybe when you have your next release of drill holes or something like that.
And Clay, thank you so much for that. Last thing I'd like to say is 2 little things. I'm a securities lawyer by training. So what I did in the fall, I saw this evolving so quickly, and I knew that there'd be a lot of American investors that would really want to partake in this. So, I did upgrade my listing to an OTCQX listing flag. I think it makes it pretty simple down there for retail investors to get involved in the story. So that was number one. And if you go to that website, silvertigermetals.com, you'll basically see on that front page the verify deck. You don't have to go too far. You'll see it. Just touch it and start playing with it. It's fantastic.
Great. We'll get that out to everyone. Okay,
Great.
we're gonna
Thank you,
wrap.
everyone.
Yep,
Thank
wrap
you.
it up here. And thanks so much, Glenn. Everyone, thanks for coming on today. And we'll look forward to having you on in a future podcast presentation produced by Torrey Capital. Until then, be safe and be well.
Thank you, everyone. Be safe.
Thank you.